Every Christmas, his mansion glowed with golden lights, but inside the silence was unbearable. The neighbors saw a powerful CEO who had everything: wealth, fame, success. But no one knew that every year on December 25th, Ethan Cole sat alone at a dining table set for three, staring at two empty chairs that never got filled again. Before we begin, if stories of kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles touch your heart, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because sometimes a single click can spread warmth far beyond what we imagine. Ethan Cole, 43, was the name everyone admired. He was the founder and CEO of Cole Tech Innovations, a global empire. His company was known for futuristic devices that made people's lives easier. Yet, the man who gave the world convenience lived in painful solitude. Years ago, Christmas had been his favorite season. He and his wife Emma would decorate their small apartment with handmade ornaments. They didn't have much, but their laughter filled the rooms with magic. When their daughter Lily was born, Ethan promised that Christmas would always be special for her. But fate had other plans. A car accident on Christmas Eve 10 years ago took both Emma and Lily away. Since then, Ethan stopped celebrating. The mansion grew larger, colder. Every year he ordered decorations out of habit, but never looked at them. The staff left early for holidays, and the lights outside were just for show, an empty reminder of what he'd lost. That year, the snow fell thicker than usual. The night was quiet, except for the ticking of the old clock in the hallway. Ethan sat near the fireplace, holding a photo frame of his family. He whispered, "Merry Christmas, my loves." Then, knock, knock, knock. The sound startled him. No one ever came to his door on Christmas night. He hesitated, wondering if it was just the wind, but then came another knock, soft but persistent. He opened the heavy wooden door, and there they were, a young woman in her 30s, shivering, holding the hand of a little girl no older than 8. "Sorry to bother you," the woman said, her breath forming clouds in the cold. "Our car broke down the road. My phone died, and your house was the only one with lights on." Ethan blinked. He saw exhaustion in her eyes and innocence in the child's. "Come in," he said quietly, stepping aside. The woman hesitated. "We don't want to trouble you. You already look frozen," Ethan replied. "Please." They entered. The warmth of the fire welcomed them, and the little girl's eyes widened as she looked around. "Mommy, it's like a castle," she whispered. Ethan managed a faint smile. "What's your name?" "I'm Sophie," the girl chirped, her cheeks pink from the cold. "And this is my mom, Grace." Grace smiled politely. "Thank you, Mr. Cole," he said. "Ethan Cole." Her eyes widened slightly. "The Ethan Cole from Cole Tech?" He nodded, "Yes. But tonight I'm just Ethan." Grace chuckled softly. "Well, Ethan, thank you for letting us in. We were driving to my sister's for Christmas, but the storm got worse." "Where's your car?" "About a mile back," Grace said. "I didn't want Sophie out there too long." Ethan nodded and handed her a blanket. "You did the right thing. Sit by the fire." As the clock ticked, the quiet house felt different. Sophie wandered around, fascinated by the tall Christmas tree still wrapped in unlit garlands. "Why aren't your lights on, mister?" she asked innocently. Ethan hesitated. "I don't really celebrate Christmas anymore," Sophie frowned. "But it's Christmas Eve! That's when magic happens!" Her words pierced something deep inside him. Grace noticed his expression and gently said, "Sophie, maybe Mr. Cole has his reasons." But Ethan's voice was soft. "No, she's right. Maybe I've just forgotten what magic feels like." The little girl giggled. "Then we can help you remember." And before he could stop her, Sophie ran to the tree, tugged on the garlands, and said, "Mommy, can we help decorate?" Grace looked embarrassed. "Sophie, that's not polite." "It's fine," Ethan said. For the first time in years, his heart warmed at the sight of someone near that tree. "Yes, you can help." They decorated together. Sophie hummed Christmas songs, Grace hung ornaments, and Ethan found himself pulling out boxes he hadn't touched in a decade. Inside one, he found a small angel ornament, Lily's favorite. His hands trembled. Grace noticed. "Is everything okay?" He nodded slowly. "This belonged to my daughter. She loved Christmas more than anyone." Grace's expression softened. I'm sorry. She and my wife passed away on Christmas Eve, 10 years ago. A heavy silence filled the room. Sophie stopped humming. Grace reached out gently. That's a pain I can't imagine, but I think your daughter would be happy to see this tree shining again tonight. Ethan swallowed hard. Maybe. When the lights finally came on, the tree sparkled with color. Sophie clapped her hands. It's beautiful! Ethan looked around. For the first time, the mansion didn't feel empty. Later, they sat around the table. Ethan insisted they share dinner. The chef had left a full Christmas meal before leaving for vacation. As they ate, Sophie told stories about school, her friends, and how she wanted to become an artist. Grace smiled, sometimes looking at Ethan with quiet gratitude. After dinner, Ethan brought out hot cocoa. Sophie sipped hers happily and asked, Mr. Cole, do you believe in Santa? He smiled sadly. I used to. You should again, Sophie said seriously. Because sometimes Santa doesn't come down chimneys, he comes as people who help others. Grace smiled. She's full of ideas like that. Ethan chuckled softly. She's wise beyond her years. By midnight, the storm had passed. Grace thanked him for everything. You've been so kind. We should get going before it gets too late. But as she gathered their things, Ethan felt an ache in his chest. The same one he'd carried every Christmas, only this time, it was different. It wasn't just loneliness anymore. It was the fear of losing warmth again. Wait, he said. It's late. The roads might still be icy. Stay the night. Grace hesitated. We don't want to impose. You're not. Please. She looked at Sophie, who was already half asleep on the couch, clutching a stuffed reindeer. Grace smiled softly. All right. Just for tonight. The next morning, Christmas sunlight filled the house. Ethan woke to laughter echoing from the kitchen. Grace and Sophie were making pancakes, wearing his oversized aprons. Morning, sleepyhead, Sophie said cheerfully. We're making Christmas breakfast. Ethan smiled for real this time, something he hadn't done in years. I haven't had that in a long time. Then today's the perfect day to start again, Grace said warmly. As they sat to eat, Sophie handed Ethan a small paper envelope. It's your Christmas gift. He blinked. For me? Uh-huh. Open it. Inside was a simple drawing, Ethan, Grace, and Sophie standing together beside the Christmas tree. At the top, in colorful crayon letters, it said, No one should be alone on Christmas. Tears welled in his eyes. He couldn't speak for a moment. Then he whispered, Thank you. Grace touched his hand gently. Maybe this Christmas you finally got your miracle. He looked at her, and something inside him healed. Over the next few weeks, Grace and Sophie visited often. Ethan helped fix Grace's car, offered her a job at his company, and even started a charity fund to help single parents during the holidays. As the next Christmas approached, his mansion no longer stood as a monument of loneliness. It was filled with laughter, warmth, and the smell of homemade cookies. That Christmas Eve, Ethan stood by the same fireplace, holding a photo frame, now with a new picture, him, Grace, and Sophie smiling together. He whispered, Merry Christmas, Emma, Lily. You'll always be with me, but thank you for sending them. And for the first time in 10 years, he didn't just say the words, he felt them.